It looks like there's a bunch of other people arming Ukraine now.
With boots on the ground and planes in the air. The UK is prepared to back this. With boots on the ground and planes in the air. Together with others, Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing.
Man, that escalated quickly. It sure did. It's escalating very quickly. Things are going fast.
We had a very good and frank discussion. We've discussed everything that is around peace and strength. And of course, security guarantees are of utmost importance for Ukraine, but we need comprehensive security guarantees. This includes that we have to put Ukraine in a position of strength, that it has the means to fortify and protect itself from the economic survival to the military resilience. It's basically turning Ukraine into a steel porcupine that is indigestible for potential invaders. Therefore the focus is not only on the military supply, but also, for example, securing the energy system and making sure that over time this is a strong and resilient country. The second element I brought to the table is that we urgently have to rearm Europe. And for that I will present a comprehensive plan how to rearm Europe on the 6th of March when we have our European Council to the leaders.
And what level of spending should individual countries make to defence?
One thing is very sure, we have to have a surge in defense. We really have to step up massive the defense expenditure.
I don't speak British, so I don't really know what he said, but I think he's asking something about spending money.
And for that, we need a clear, big plan from the European Union for the member states and, of course, for common European domains. Like, for example, advanced air shields. We need a common European approach. But also the member states need more fiscal space to do a surge in defence.
Have you won the argument with European colleagues about stepping up to the plate in terms of money?
Absolutely. We all have understood that after a long time of underinvestment, it is now of utmost importance to step up the defence investment for a prolonged period of time.
So this was
for
today.
The security of the European Union, and we need in the geostrategic environment in which we live to prepare for the worst, and therefore stepping up the defences.
What message would you like to take to America? What message would you like to give to America after today's meeting?
We are ready, together with you, to defend democracy, to defend the principle that there is a rule of law, that you cannot invade your neighbor and bully your neighbor, or you cannot change borders with force. And it's in our common interest to prevent future wars that we make very clear that these rules count and that democracy, that together the democracies are standing up for that. The possibility is, of course, that we have the wider Europe approach. So today we had the Norwegians, the Turks. Of course, we were hosted here by the UK.
Who elected her? I don't know.
Canada was also there, so the wider concept of Europe stepping up.
No one?
And what does that mean in terms of numbers of soldiers on the ground? How many European soldiers on the ground?
United States.
Dozen?
We stand up for the common interest. Thank you.
Yep, couple dozen. EU Parliament? Okay, I get it. Yep, there you go. And wow. And the EU delegations? It's so hypocritical. They're talking about defending democracy when they're banning political parties on the right side. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, anybody trying to make an advocacy for democracy when at the same time they're censoring speech, I'm just not really getting that. I'm not really hearing it. Nope. It's delusional. Yeah, they're banning people for speech, put people in jail for speech. Yep.
Good and frank discussion.
Bigger things to fry here. that's fine. I mean, like, I've been on the favor of that before, but like, I'm still not going to go and listen to fucking somebody talk about democracy. You want to use an argument against me, and you got to tell me that I have to agree with your bad argument just because it's for the greater good. Fuck that. No, I'm not going to go and say the sky is green or purple because there's some greater good. Fuck that. No. This is a longer one.
We will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third, in the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion.
Nope.
Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace. Not every nation will feel able to contribute, but that can't mean that we sit back. Instead, those willing will intensify planning now with real urgency. The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air.
This is what we saw
together
before.
With others. Europe must do the heavy lifting.
So people are talking about World War III now.
But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing. We're working with the US on this point after my meeting with President Trump last week. And let me be clear, we agree with the President on the urgent need for a durable peace. Now we need to deliver together. Finally, we agreed that leaders will meet again very soon to keep the pace behind these actions and to keep working towards this shared plan. We are at a crossroads in history today. This is not a moment for more talk. It's time to act, time to step up and lead, and to unite around a new plan for a just and enduring peace.
Well,
thank you.
We'll see what happens, right? France is discussing about sharing nuclear capabilities with UK to remove dependence on the US to strengthen our alliance. Yeah, maybe that'd be a better idea. UK, France, all the other big countries are broke in the EU except Germany, which is on the brink of financial collapse. You can check their annual budgets. It's all negative. They're scrambling after that meeting. Yeah, but they're probably stressed out because we weren't going to put money into it. Yeah. Damn, she's loud. There he is.
Thank you.
That's a lot of them. He is short. I mean, it's fair to say he definitely is short. Let's see if there's any more of this. Yeah, here it is.
Prime Minister Starmer said specifically it will mean UK boots on the ground and planes in the air. From your answer, I am taking that will not mean Canadian boots on the ground. Is that, just to finish, is that the case, or are you considering Canadian boots on the ground in the form of peacekeepers down the road?
Every step of the way, Canada has looked at the ways it can best help. And as I've said a few days ago, everything's on the table. We know that the Canadian military has ways that it can contribute. We're not going to get ahead of the discussions on how to keep a peace that isn't yet in place. But Canada will be there and is open to doing what is necessary, but those will be decisions taken in the coming years by Canadians and their government.
I wonder how big like the Canadian military really is, because like if I look at, where is this military spending by country, and I look at this, Canada, I mean, like, is that Russia? Is that $86 billion, right? I mean, that's a lot. And the U.S. spends almost $1 trillion. So Canada's 600, 700K. Yeah, we protect them all. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what happens is the U.S. spends a lot of money and we protect other people too. It's very small for the size of the country. Iceland could invade Canada. Damn, that would suck. That'd be nuts, yeah. Do you feel like the popular sentiment in our generation is that we just want to stay out of it? Yeah, no, I think that the sentiment that a lot of young men and like young people have nowadays is that they don't want to spend their tax money on bullshit that's happening on the other side of the world. I think that's true with Israel. I think it's true with Ukraine. I think it's true in general. And that's actually the end of it. They don't care about geopolitical ramifications. They don't care about the, like second order effects of this. These are people who can't afford food, they can't afford rent, and they feel like they can't afford basic human dignity. So why the fuck are they going to care about what land Russia has when they can't even have land to live on? That's the truth. That's really where people are at. And I understand people might say that's the wrong opinion to have. That's the wrong opinion. That's fine. You can tell somebody that. But when somebody doesn't have a house, they're barely able to afford their fucking house, they're just not going to listen to you, right? And that's it. So, yeah, it's nearsighted and dumb. How can you expect them to be smart when they can't even afford to live? Really? How can you expect that? Like, it's so naive to think like that. It is. People care about their own lives. This is the way that, like, so there's like concentric circles of giving a fuck, right? First, you care about yourself, then you care about your family, then you care about your community, then you care about your country, then you care about the world, right? Like, this is a general thing. Now, it's not always like this, but I think this is a general statement of like people's different tier lists. So if you still can't take care of this inner circle, what the fuck are you doing thinking about this? Well, you're not. And so that's the truth. And that's what a lot of people that are around my age, and especially people that are younger, think. No, you can't help others without helping yourself. Yeah, isn't that divided based on a heat map? Oh, that meme? Yeah, I seen that. Would it take a Pearl Harbor for that view to change? I think that if a Pearl Harbor happened, people, like, let's say another 9/11 happened. I think that people would just want us to bomb whatever country did it, and that's it. Just bomb the fuck out of them, and then leave. I don't think anybody wants like a long-term continual investment. Like, we have all these bombs, we have all these missiles. We don't want to send over 1 million troops and another $1 trillion to fight a long, ongoing war. Yep, drone them, bomb them, don't think about it, right? Can you run a poll? Yeah, that's what I think that the public would want to see. Wipe them out? Yeah, wipe them out. I think that's what, if we had another September 11th, I think that's exactly what the public would want to see. What's this here? Just make them a dependent ally? Well, I don't know. And the social justice words coming from people exceeding that their give a fuck circle, not being ready. Well, that's the problem, right? Is that the give a fuck circle that people have is that everybody patronizes this, but you're not going to be able to guilt somebody who can't afford rent into wanting their tax dollars to go to a bomb that goes on the other side of the world. It's just not going to happen. It's not. As a veteran, this is what I signed up for, and not just, just let it happen. It's not our fight. Here's the point, though, right? Is like, so you can have that viewpoint, and that's totally okay for you to have that viewpoint. That's okay. But the problem is that it is a democracy, right? People are voting for things. And I think that there are enough people out there that just simply don't want to be involved in these conflicts because they can't afford basic necessities. That's it. And like, if you can't understand that sentiment, then I think that you have a fundamental understanding of like human behavior. I think you need to understand, like, if you can't figure that out and you can't figure out why people think that way, and you just want to like patronize them and tell them they're stupid, why is it either or? Because it literally is. There's a set amount of money and a set amount of resources and a set amount of effort that's possible to be taken. And so every dollar that's spent in one direction is a dollar that's not spent in another direction. Like, you can't just infinitely you can infinitely print fiat currency, sure, but you can't infinitely create wealth. It's two very different things. I'm a veterinarian. Oh, I don't know about this. Give me a second. My desk calling. Hello? Hey. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
One of the things here, when you just showed that graph of the of the military expenditures.
Yeah.
Notice that it was military expenditures. Where do those expenditures go? They go into the military-industrial complex. And so who do you think controls the government? The companies that are in the military-industrial
complex, yep, yep.
And so, and
I mean, Dick Cheney was literally the CEO of Halliburton, right?
At some point he was,
yeah.
I believe. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
and he was the vice president. Yeah.
The guy who shoots his own buddy in the face because he can't.
Oh, the shotgun. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the quail, and then he shoots his friend in the face because he has no fucking arms control himself. You know, what a jackass. But that's where that money's going. It's recycled, and some CEO is another. I told you about that one that left Harcourt. $1 million to not non-compete for 1 year.
Well, no, it's just they're wasting money. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, I feel like, they need to audit the military and see where all this money's going. I think it's going to some bullshit for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I understand that. Elon there, might want to do a little trial run on knocking down some easy targets like USAID before he goes after the biggies like the military.
That's what I hope he does.
Oh, me too. And that's where the fat is. I mean, because there isn't a lot of fat. All that aid stuff was like.
Well, it's millions compared to billions. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah, it was puny. I mean, it was like a couple of percent at most. And but another thing I want to comment on was, I've mentioned this to you before.
Yeah.
The U.S., especially in the 20th century, somehow got into some kind of an armed conflict where we put, boots on the ground, as they say, in some other country, and we gave a country a bunch of shit, machine guns and and all sorts of military equipment. Well, what they're doing, I mean, you've got to know from being in the fucking military. I spent 2 years, 7 months, 6 days, and 7 hours in the fucking Army, and I worked directly with the colonel.
Yeah.
And I learned, a lot about this shit. And I've been around military people all my life. And one of the things that they're up for is having the most realistic field exercises they can.
Well, what are you trying to get at?
Well, okay, my point is, a lot of these conflicts and shit, and even what's going on now, they put boots on the ground as I shit you not, a fucking military exercise. That's why we're going in there and stepping on, countries like Iraq. Iraq didn't even expect to be attacked.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan, that was a lost cause. That was just an asshole move.
Yeah.
But they, and people don't know about this, but we've got troops on the ground in Congo and in Africa.
Well, you remember I was telling you about this with that game, that Metal Gear Solid game I was talking to you about?
Yeah, you and I talked together.
Yeah.
That's they've got active combat, really.
Yeah.
Because I told you that Evelyn, my old friend Evelyn, her brother took a spear through the fucking shoulder.
Yeah.
In the Congo. I didn't even know they were in the Congo. This was way back in the day. But that is what is going on with a lot of this fucking...
with the money. Yeah, no, I get it.
It's the money, and it's a field exercise.
Yeah.
But, I told you they're going to send me to Germany for Reforger and
look, I got to get back to it. There's a bunch of other stuff I got to do there.
Just wait a minute. And and that was, we all fly over to Europe. We pull out how much do you think it costs to do that?
A lot of money.
Yeah, fucking, I don't even know how many of us went. I think there was a whole division. And you fly them over there, you got to put them up, you get them into the country, pull out, and the Germans don't, once you put that stores with the Germans, it's a nightmare to get it out of there. So to get your equipment out, then you run around in the field, a couple of few other guys die, frozen to their machine guns because you're on the Czech border in December and January. And but this is meant to test the system. This is what you do. And so I think a lot of these wars, and when they start, is just for the military exercise. And a bit of our old equipment. All that old ammo, you don't want ammo to be sitting around for, more than...
Look, I know about all that, all right? I get it, I know.
No, you never mentioned it.
I can't talk about everything. Well, yeah, they send depreciating assets over to other countries as aid in order to write them off. Yeah, I get that. Of course they do that.
Over in Nam, we use 48 tanks, and the new battle tank, the current battle tank for the U.S. back then was an M. So, we ship all our old equipment over to Nam, and, let happen what may.
Right.
So, anyway, that's just a couple of comments I want to get in on this, because you don't have a military view. You don't know what those military guys are like, and they want real fucking exercises. If you can get, it's like playing guns, if you got you want to see if you can beat the other guys. You want to see how well you can do, and so they put out a red and a blue force, or whatever our colors would be, and we have them fight it out. Okay. And you have guys out there in the middle of December, January, and February on the Czech border, freezing fucking cold.
Yeah.
And that's why they do that. So that's one of the reasons, and is to get these exercises in. Anyway.
All right.
Cut it.
Okay.
And, keep talking about this shit. I'll be back on,
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Bye.
Yo, bye-bye.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. So the problem is it failed audits. It doesn't account for a significant amount of money. No. Yeah. I think they're just funneling money. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're wasting money. I think there's people that are getting paid on the back end. I think it's a fucking scam. That's what I think is going on. Honestly, yeah. That's the way I see it. I feel like it's obviously that case, right? And I don't know how you can't see it that way. But some people don't, for whatever fucking reason. But it does seem like a lot of people apparently... oh, here we go. There's some more of it.
Thank you so much, Molly. Let me go to Courtney. NBC News has new exclusive reporting about a phone call that happened between President Biden and the Ukrainian president back in June. What do we know about that conversation, Courtney?
Yeah, that's right, Kate. So in this conversation, President Biden called President Zelensky to tell him about a roughly $1 billion package of additional equipment and weapons for the Ukrainian military coming from the United States. During the course of the call, President Zelensky continued, according to a number of officials who we spoke with who are familiar with the call, President Zelensky continued to talk about the additional equipment and weapons and support that he and his military needed. According to these officials, they said that President Biden finally just got frustrated and lost his temper and told President Zelensky, look, you could be a little bit more grateful. The reason that this story is interesting to us and is something that we're reporting on.
See, yeah, we need to have these crash outs publicly. Yeah, I want to see more public crash outs.
And officials were speaking to us about is because it shows that all these months ago, President Biden already realized that there was going to be a point where the American people, members of Congress, where people would start potentially pushing back on all these billions and billions of dollars of aid and equipment that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine. And he knew that the narrative out there needed to be that the Ukrainian people and President Zelensky were grateful for it if this the support was going to continue at that same level, Kate.
All right.
I think that's probably true to an extent. There's a lot less people
really
support it.
Interesting reporting. You can find more on our website, NBCNews.com. Molly Hunter, thank you.
What about Israel then? No, I don't know why people can't understand this. The reason why there's not as much criticism about Israel is because it gets labeled as anti-Semitism. It's like hating Jews. That's the main reason why people aren't bringing that shit up. Now, I could be wrong, And there could be a little bit more to it, but I think that's a big fucking reason. That's a massive reason why people don't go and talk about it. And it shouldn't. Well, that's it. Right? Funny that. It's emotional argumentation. Yeah, and the best argument isn't an argument. So keep that in mind. So, yeah. King Charles, this is it too. Well, yeah. I mean, it looks like Britain's really trying to help Zelensky a lot.